Hello and welcome back to the quality control series that we've been doing for our F-18 Flight School Campaign that we've been working on for quite a while now. We'd normally be starting from the cockpit to work on a mission to do testing for it, but we had some issues in the last mission that I wanted to address how I fixed them, because it was a simple little thing that you wouldn't know unless you tested things out and tried to figure it out. We were trying to land on the carrier over here, and we were landing, and it was, you know, I'm not the best pilot in the world, but it ended up working out, and we were able to land, and the mission just would not complete. I spent a little bit of time running and rerunning the mission, trying to figure it out, and it turns out that for these zones here, you can link the zone to a specific unit. The problem is that if you link it here on the actual zone, and then you also go through and on your triggers and stuff here, you also have your conditions set to having the zone, that specific zone, attached to a unit. It seems like they cancel each other out, or they conflict in some way, and then the zone just doesn't work. Nothing happens with the zone. So by turning the zone, by making it so that these zones here aren't specifically attached via the zone itself, and by only having it attached here in the triggers, everything finally works. I was able to land, I got all the mission complete stuff and everything, and it seems to work just fine. So I just wanted to make sure that I went back through that real quick, because if you were watching the last one and you're wondering why it wasn't working, well, that's why. So we do need to hop into here. This next mission is going to be our carrier quals mission, where basically you're going to take off from the carrier and land several times just to prove that, or just to get you used to it and prove that you're able to successfully take off and successfully land on the carrier. Now, why is it asking me that? I didn't change anything. I really hate it when it does that. There's something weird with the mission editor that it does these weird things like this. But anyways, so yeah, we're going to go through this. We're going to take off from the carrier. We're going to land. Ideally, you take off and land 3 times, and then you go and park, and you're done. Depending on how many times you have to go around, it could be a relatively short mission, or it could be a very, very long mission. Let me just double check and make sure that I have the microphone and all that stuff set up the right way. Seems like I'm good. Let's hop into here and start listening to what this guy has to say.
Time for your first catapult launch. Today we're going to practice launching from the carrier in case 1 recoveries.
What happened?
In the real world, you would have several directors that would guide you from your parking spot here all the way over to the catapult, but for this we'll have to taxi over to the active cat on our own. Once we're done going over the process, you'll add minimal power to get yourself moving and slowly turn toward the catapult that has personnel standing by it. Once you're approaching it, the director standing on the catapult will begin giving you directions. The hand signals you'll need to know for that will be both hands moving in towards the face, which indicates that you need to move straight forward in whatever direction you're facing, even if the director isn't directly in front of you. They will manage your direction to get you lined up, and sometimes they'll need you to move left or right, then turn you back toward the direction you need to go. For turns, they'll hold an arm out to let you know to turn.
So the purpose of all this is, you know, a lot of people don't have any idea how directions and stuff on the carrier work, so we go through all this real quick just to make sure they understand the hand signals.
Signal to unfold your wings, which is both arms held out like wings. You'll turn the wing fold lever all the way to the right, then push it in. Lastly, 2 upraised fists indicate a direction to stop, so you'll halt the aircraft when you see that signal.
I gotta try to remember to check out the timings on all this.
Catapult, and once you're directed to stop, press IP for further instructions.
He gave us the wing fold signal.
At this point, the crew will need to get you attached to the catapult, which involves 2 pieces of gear. The first is the tension bar, which is attached to the rear of your nose wheel and prevents your aircraft from moving forward before you're launched. This is being attached right now. The second is the launch bar, which is attached to the front of your landing gear and links up with the shuttle, which is the part of the catapult that is going to yank you forward during the launch.
I probably need to change the numbers for this again.
The director should be instructing you to lower the launch bar with a hand signal showing one arm held down and to the left.
All right, sorry, we need to go back. We'll skip through the narrations again. I need to go back and check the carrier. I probably need to go back through all of the missions because it doesn't seem like... It does not seem like 41 X-ray. Huh. I wonder why it keeps changing. So 74. I mean, maybe I just have I wrote down 74, I think, in all of the briefings. But whatever, that's fine. Why does it do that? It's really irritating. Why is this a temporary mission? I really don't like their implementation of this thing here. Like, it's really frustrating to have to go back. Now I have to reload this and then change it again because for whatever reason it just decided that now we're not in the same mission we were in. We're in some kind of a temporary mission for no reason. We just are now. I really don't have patience for that kind of stuff. Things should just work. All right. Can I save it now, and it'll just save it as the mission? Thank you. Now, because we still need to get back into the mission and redo all of that stuff we were just doing. Yeah, see, I have it written down as 74 X-ray, so I don't know why it says 41 now. Let me know in the comments if the Stennis is 41 X-ray as it's the default. I put 74 in because I'm pretty sure that's what it told me that it was when I loaded it, so I don't... I don't know why what the deal is.
In the real world, you would have several directors that would guide you from your parking spot here all the way over to the catapult, but for this we'll have to taxi over to the active CAT on our own. Once we're done going over the process, you'll add minimal power to get yourself moving and slowly turn toward the catapult that has personnel standing by it. Once you're approaching it, the director standing on the catapult will begin giving you directions. The hand signals you'll need to know for that will be both hands moving in towards the face, which indicates that you need to move straight forward in whatever direction you're facing, even if the director isn't directly in front of you. They will manage your direction to get you lined up, and sometimes they'll need you to move left or right, then turn you back toward the direction you need to go. For turns, they'll hold an arm out to let you know to turn in that direction, then return to the inward hand's motion when they want you to go straight again. As you approach the catapult, you'll likely get the signal to unfold your wings, which is both arms held out like wings. You'll turn the wing fold lever all the way to the right, then push it in. Lastly, two upraised fists indicate a direction to stop, so you'll halt the aircraft.
Yeah, I definitely got to go back through and look at all the timing for everything.
Go ahead and start taxiing toward the catapult, and once you're directed to stop, press IP for further instructions.
Oh, we've already gotten through all of this.
At this point, the crew will need to get you attached to the catapult, which involves two pieces of gear. The first is the tension bar, which is attached to the rear of your nose wheel and prevents your aircraft.
So we've already done everything in this that he said. You can pause the video and read this if you want. I know that this is pretty good, so we'll go ahead and do this.
The director should now be making a hand signal similar to the launch bar signal, except now his arm should be bent at the elbow, signaling you to raise the launch bar to seat it in the shuttle. Go ahead and do that now. Once that's done, he should raise one hand in the air and begin waving it rapidly in a tight circle. This is an indication that you need to apply full throttle in preparation to launch. Apply full throttle, then execute a wipeout of your flight controls, which is moving your stick as far as it will go in every direction several times, as well as moving your rudder controls back and forth a few times. This ensures that there are no problems with the flight control system prior to launch. Hold here a second while I explain the remainder of the launch. Once the wipeout is complete, you'll give your salute using the appropriate keybind, which will let the crew know you're ready to go. The shooter will verify all personnel are good to go, then kneel down and extend an arm forward, signaling the catapult operator to shoot you off the bow. Once you're off the carrier, stay below 500-foot AGL to keep clear of aircraft on their Case 1 recovery until you're at least 5 miles from the carrier. You'll also perform a clearing turn, which is a slight turn toward the side of the carrier you launched from long enough to get clear of the bow of the ship, then you return to the original heading. At 5 miles, you can climb out and swing around to approach the carrier to land. Report inbound, followed immediately by your CU-10 call, then execute.
Alright, yeah, I gotta fix the timing on all of these, but that's fine.
Okay, we're ready to launch, so throttle up, wipe your controls, give your salute, and prepare for the ride of your life.
Okay, do our clearing turn. I think I was supposed to actually clear to the right, but that's fine. It is what it is. So we're gonna head out here, stay below 500 AGL until we're at 5 miles, and then we'll climb around and head back to the carrier. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start heading up and around. Start getting some ATC. Oh, probably need to set my radios. 127,500 up. Then we head over to ATC inbound.
Marshall 010. Marking maps 095.6. Angels 3.5. State 9.8.
010. Weather's weather is visibility 10 plus mile. Clear. Altimeter is 290.
I was close, 109.
Expected BRC 1090. Report see me at 10.
010. See you at 10.
Update state switched out.
010.
I'm not sure what you guys can see in comparison to what I can see. From what I remember seeing on the recording actually looks a fair bit clearer than what I see in my thing here. I can sort of make out a shape that's clearly the carrier because it's bigger and longer than everything else, but I can't tell that it's a carrier. It could be a long tanker or something as far as I can tell, because I'm not able to turn my resolution up to any kind of decent rate to make it easy to see what things are. So I know that's the carrier because it's the only thing that could be the carrier over here. And that kind of sucks. I'm really looking forward to hopefully upgrading my hardware at some point and actually be able to see this stuff for real.
Angels 3. State 9.6.
Start slowing down.
Tower, Roger. BRC 109.
Get our hook down before I forget to do that. We're supposed to have our checklist up. Get our radar altimeter up. And then, yeah, we start reducing speed down to 350, get ourselves down to 800 feet, pass the carrier, do our braking turn, and hopefully get a trap on the carrier here. Now, my disclaimer for all of this is that the reason I'm doing this flight campaign, I've said this many times, but there's lots of people who haven't seen this yet. The reason I'm making this training campaign is because I need this training campaign. I am not very good at all of this. I am not an expert on the Hornet. I am not an expert in DCS. I'm not an expert in any of that stuff. I'm following that old maxim that the best way to learn is to teach. Okay, so the information here is not correct. 109 is supposed to be our number. There we go. So we're a little slow, we're a little low. We just hit our 1 mile though, so we're going to go ahead and start swinging around. Come on. Now, once you hit 250, you're supposed to lower flaps and gear, but I prefer to just wait until I'm all the way around the circle. Okay. So we're not quite on course, but I have a feeling that we're too close. So we're gonna head off in this direction a little bit. Slowly bring ourselves down to the 600 that we're supposed to be. Yeah, like we're supposed to be 1.5 miles from the Stennis, not 1 mile. So I'm gonna hold this attitude here. I'm gonna hold this course here to hopefully bring ourselves a little further out to the right, so that when we start our turn, we can ideally line up where we're supposed to be. I'm also gonna give myself plenty of room to turn around. We are very high and too close to the ship, so I'm gonna give myself, I'm gonna head out to like maybe 2.2 or 2.3 miles from the Stennis, just to give myself room to line up once we turn around, because I didn't do a good job of getting on the downwind way, where we were supposed to be, and at the altitude we were supposed to be. So I'm gonna give myself plenty of extra room here. So we'll go out to like 2.5, I think. Then we'll turn around. That'll give me plenty of time to line up on the carrier. This is not the way it's supposed to work out, but sometimes you just need a little bit of extra help. Okay. Do some pitch trim to keep the E-bracket down here with me. 30. So I'm trying to explain this as I go, but I'm also trying to pay attention. You want to hold on to looking at this until you hit the 90-degree mark, which is when the course marker there starts doing that, and then you can look over at the carrier, start lining yourself up. And then start making turn adjustments to get yourself on course. Hooks down, flaps and gear down. Now we're going to start looking for getting on the carrier here. Start making rapid throttle adjustments to stay ahead of the aircraft. Make some pitch trim adjustments to try to fine-tune where the velocity vector is on your E-bracket, just so you have the optimum angle here. And then I think I'm probably low, waiting for that meatball to show up. There it is. Yeah, we're definitely low because it's not even showing me on the meatball right now, and we're clearly not too high. So we're gonna stay at this attitude here until we start to see the meatball showing up. Constantly moving the throttle and just adjusting the range at which I move the throttle to get it where I need it to be. I'm gonna angle a little bit to the right. Yeah. Alright, so now we reduce the range of our throttle as we're moving it. We're still moving it constantly. Oh, too much. Power. Okay, here we go. Oh, too late. Alright, so unfortunately, we screwed that up. Now, technically, you're supposed to get on back on BRC and all of that. I'm not going to waste our time doing that. I'm going to swing around and just try to immediately do it again. You would pull up your gear, you pull up your flaps, you go out and try again all the way around, but we don't have time for that here. So we're just going to swing around immediately and try to quickly get back. Ideally I can get out to 1.5 miles doing it this way. I can get out to 1.5 miles doing it this way, which is going to put us in a much better position, and hopefully I can actually get a better... we're already at almost 600 feet. So we are now in a better position. This. Okay. We are not on the right course yet, though, because the arrow is not pointing straight down. But we did get 1.5 miles, pretty much a beam of the carrier, so that's we're at the right distance now. We just need to get far enough away from the carrier that we can have plenty of room to turn around. So the general instruction that I understood was that you want to be descending slowly in the turn, and I think I'm descending too rapidly. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start turning now. I'm gonna try to keep the velocity vector more or less on the horizon here in our 30-degree turn. That way, because I'd rather start too high than have to climb and fix it. So I think for my purposes, this is not proper procedures for doing this, because, you know, when you watch videos of real carrier pilots doing this stuff, they're doing a slow descending turn as they do this. But for my purposes, I mean, I'm already down to 560. Okay, so I need to make a serious adjustment here because I turned we were either too close or I was turning too hard. I mean, 30 degrees is what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to be 1.5 miles from the carrier, so I'm not sure what maybe my speed was too slow, or I don't know. Because a 30 degree bank, once you can see the rear of the carrier is what you're supposed to do at a 1.5 miles from the carrier. So I'm not sure why that ended up working out the way it did. We're gonna aggressively correct our left and right position. We're now we're now the ball's coming up very aggressively, so we want to make sure we're paying attention to that. Okay, add a little power to get the velocity vector. I generally try to. You're supposed to just pay attention to the meatball, and I'm trying to get in the habit of making sure I do that and just ignore the velocity vector. Okay, so now it's coming up. Now it's coming up. A little high. A little more. A little more. A little more. All right, got ourselves a trap.
Good trap.
All right, so here we go.
Reduce throttle to idle.
I gotta
raise
fix my
your
center.
hook,
Fix
then
my
return to the
centering on my.
catapult to launch again. We'll do 2 more traps before calling it a day.
Okay, so we'll. Why am I not turning? Did we damage our gear? I'm not sure what's going on here. It won't turn. Okay. Well, okay. We know that the trigger works, so unfortunately, my lack of skill, I think I hit too hard and damaged the gear, and that means we can't finish it. But we'll take a look at the the things here. I know that this works because I've done it before. Basically, the way this works is that when you launch, it detects that you leave the moving zone, and it's a switch condition, so I can switch this condition back and forth. And then it adjusts the mission tracker flag value. And then once you land and your speed is lower than 80 knots, it adjusts, and your whatever mission step you're supposed to be on, is as long as these are true, it'll say you did a good trap, and then it'll advance to the next step, and then the next time you launch, it resets it advances the flag again to verify that you've left the carrier and you're ready to try another thing. And then you just keep going through the step again. And then once you've gotten to the point where you've advanced the steps enough to prove that you've done 3 carrier landings, it'll say you did a good trap, reduce the throttle, head over, park, do all that stuff, do a proper shutdown to end the lesson. And then when you end the lesson, it'll check to see that the battery has been turned off, and it'll set it to the mission complete flag, and then you're done. So I know that this works. I have done it in the past. This one doesn't have the issues that the previous mission did, and rather than continuing to go back through and, break my airplane over and over again, we're just going to say that this is good because I know that it is, and all the flags and stuff are working the way they're supposed to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Be sure to come back for our next mission, which will be aerial refueling. Oh, yay. Great. That's going to be really hard. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next time. Be sure to click the like button to help the video spread out to more people. Subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. You can support our work by joining the channel as a member, get early access to videos among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. So again, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Quality Control series for the F-18 Flight School. Be sure to come back for our next mission, and I'll see you then.